Let's do the blessings before the Torah. Baruch Adonai Amvarak, Baruch Adonai Amavarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol, Amin Vinatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Blessings before the Torah. Bless Adonai, who is to be blessed. Blessed is Adonai, who is to be blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all the peoples and gave to us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of Torah. If you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant you your rains in their season, so that the earth shall yield its produce and the trees of the field their fruit. Your threshing shall overtake the vintage, and your vintage shall overtake the sowing. You shall eat your fill of bread and dwell securely in the land. I will grant peace in the land, and you shall lie down untroubled by anyone. I will give the land respite from vicious beasts, and no sword shall cross your land. Your army shall give chase to your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall give chase to 100, and 100 of you shall give chase to 10,000. Your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. I will look with favor upon you, and make you fertile and multiply you, and I will maintain my covenant with you. You shall eat old grain long stored, and you shall have to clear out the old to make room for the new. I will establish my abode in your midst, and I will not spurn you. I will be ever present in your midst. I will be your God, and you shall be my people. I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out from the land of the Egyptians to be their slaves no more, who broke the bars of your yoke and made you walk erect. But if you do not obey me and do not observe all these commandments, if you reject my laws and spurn my rules, so that you do not observe all my commandments and you break my covenant, I in turn will do this to you. I will wreak misery upon you, consumption and fever, which cause the eyes to pine and the body to languish. You shall sow your seed to no purpose, for your enemies shall eat it. I will set my face against you. You shall be rooted by your enemies, and your foes shall dominate you. You shall flee, though no one pursues. And if, for all that, you do not obey me, I will go on to discipline you sevenfold for your sins. And I will break your proud glory. I will make your skies like iron and your earth like copper, so that your strength shall be spent to no purpose. Your land shall not yield its produce, nor shall the trees of the land yield their fruit. And if you remain hostile toward me and refuse to obey me, I will go on smiting you sevenfold for your sins. I will loose wild beasts against you, and they shall bereave you of your children and wipe out your cattle. They shall decimate you, and your road shall be deserted. And if these things fail to discipline you for me, and you remain hostile to me, I too will remain hostile to you. I, in turn, will smite you sevenfold for your sins. I will bring a sword against you to wreak vengeance for the covenant. And if you withdraw into your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into enemy hands. When I break your staff of bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in a single oven. They shall dole out your bread by weight, and though you eat, you shall not be satisfied. But if, despite this, you disobey me, and you remain hostile to me, I will act against you in wrathful hostility. I, for my part, will discipline you sevenfold for your sins. You shall eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters. I will destroy your cult places and cut down your incense stands, and I will heap your carcasses upon your lifeless fetishes. I will spurn you. I will lay your cities in ruin and make your sanctuaries desolate. I will not sever your pleasing odors. I will make the land desolate so that your enemies who settle in it shall be appalled by it. And you I will scatter among the nations. I will unsheath the sword against you. Your land shall become a desolation, and your cities a ruin. Then shall the land make up for its Sabbath years throughout the time that it is desolate, and you are in the land of your enemies. Then shall the land rest and make up for its Sabbath years. Throughout the time that it is desolate, it shall observe the rest that it did not observe in your Sabbath years while you were dwelling upon it. As for those of you who survived, I will cast a faintness into their hearts in the land of their enemies. The sound of a driven leaf shall put them to flight, fleeing as though from the sword, and they shall fall though none pursues. With no one pursuing, they shall stumble over one another as before the sword. You shall not be able to stand your ground before your enemies, but shall perish among the nations, and the land of your enemies shall consume you. Those of you who survive shall be heartsick over their iniquity in the land of your enemies. More, they shall be heartsick over the iniquities of their forebears. And they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their forebears, in that they trespass against me, yea, were hostile to me. When I in turn have been hostile to them, and have removed them into the land of their enemies, then at last shall their obdurate heart humble itself, and they shall atone for their iniquity. Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob. I will remember also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. For the land shall be forsaken of them, making up for its Sabbath years, by being desolate of them, while they atone for their iniquity, for the abundant reason that they rejected my rules and spurned my laws. Yet even then, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them or spurn them so as to destroy them, annulling my covenant with them, for I, Adonai, am their God. I will remember in their favor the covenant with the ancients, whom I freed from the land of Egypt in the sight of the nations to be their God. I, Adonai. These are my laws, rules, and instructions that Adonai established throughout Moses on Mount Sinai with the Israelite people. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, when any party explicitly vows to Adonai the equivalent for a human being, the following scale shall apply. If it is a male from 20 to 60 years of age, the equivalent is 50 shekels of silver by the sanctuary weight. If it is a female, the equivalent is 30 shekels. If the age is from 5 years to 20 years, the equivalent is 20 shekels for a male and 10 shekels for a female. If the age is from 1 month to 5 years, the equivalent for a male is 5 shekels of silver, and the equivalent for a female is 3 shekels of silver. If the age is 60 years or over, the equivalent is 15 shekels in the case of a male and 10 shekels for a female. But if one cannot afford the equivalent, that person shall be presented before the priest, and the priest shall make an assessment. The priest shall make the assessment according to what the vower can afford. If the vow concerns any animal that may be brought as an offering to Adonai, any such that may be given to Adonai shall be holy. One may not exchange or substitute another for it, either good for bad or bad for good. If one does substitute one animal for another, the thing vowed and its substitute shall both be holy. If the vow concerns any impure animal that may not be brought as an offering to Adonai, the animal shall be presented before the priest, and the priest shall assess it. Whether high or low, whatever assessment is set by the priest shall stand. And if one wishes to redeem it, 1/5 must be added to its assessment. If any party consecrates a house to Adonai, the priest shall assess it, whether high or low, as the priest assesses it, so it shall stand. And if the one who has consecrated the house wishes to redeem it, 1/5 must be added to the sum at which it was assessed, and then it shall be returned. If any party consecrates to Adonai any land holding, its assessment shall be in accordance with its seed requirement, 50 shekels of silver to a homer of barley seed. If the land is consecrated as of the Jubilee year, its assessment stands. But if the land is consecrated after the Jubilee, the priest shall compute the price according to the years that are left until the Jubilee year, and its assessment shall be so reduced. And if the one who consecrated the land wishes to redeem it, 1/5 must be added to the sum at which it was assessed, and it shall be passed back. But if the one who consecrates it does not redeem the land, and the land is sold to another party, it shall no longer be redeemable. When it is released in the Jubilee, the land shall be holy to Adonai, as the land prescribed. It becomes a priest holding. If one consecrates to Adonai land that was purchased, which is not one's land holding, the priest shall compute the proportionate assessment up to the Jubilee year, and the assessment shall be paid as of that day as sacred donation to Adonai. In the Jubilee year, the land shall revert to the one from whom it was bought, whose holding the land is. All assessment shall be by the sanctuary weight, the shekel being 20 gerahs. A firstling of animals, however, which as a firstling is Adonai's, cannot be consecrated by anybody, whether ox or sheep. It is Adonai's. But if it is of impure animals, it may be ransomed at its assessment, with 1/5 added. If it is not redeemed, it shall be sold at its assessment. But of all that anyone owns, be it human or beast or land holding, nothing that has been prescribed for Adonai may be sold or redeemed. Every prescribed thing is totally consecrated to Adonai. No human being who has been prescribed can be ransomed. That person shall be put to death. All tithes from the land, whether seed from the ground or fruit from the tree, are Adonai's. They are holy to Adonai. If any party wishes to redeem any tithes, 1/5 must be added to them. All tithes of the herd or flock, of all that passes under the shepherd's staff, every 10th one shall be holy to Adonai. One must not look out for good as against bad, or make substitution for it. If one does make substitution for it, then it and its substitute shall both be holy. It cannot be redeemed. These are the commandments that Adonai gave Moses for the Israelite people on Mount Sinai. Blessings after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torato, Torat emet, v'chayai olam nata bitochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha-Torah. Blessings after the Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. Blessings before the Haftorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'devarim aneemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboker batorah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Israel amo uninvei haemet Zedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, God's servant, and Israel, God's people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. O Eternal One, my strength and my stronghold, my refuge in a day of trouble, to you nations shall come from the ends of the earth and say, our ancestors inherited utter delusions, things that are futile and worthless. Can mortals make gods for themselves? No, gods are they. Assuredly, I will teach them. Once and for all, I will teach them my power and my might, and they shall learn that my name is God. The guilt of Judah is inscribed with a stylus of iron, engraved with an adamant point on the tablet of their hearts and on the horns of their altars. While their children remember their altars and sacred posts, by verdant trees upon lofty hills. Because of the sin of your shrines throughout your borders, I will make your rampart a heap in the field, and all your treasures a spoil. You will forfeit by your own act the inheritance I have given you. I will make you a slave to your enemies in a land you have never known. For you have kindled the flame of my wrath that shall burn for all time. Thus said God, cursed is a man who trusts in mortals, who makes mere flesh his strength, and turns his thoughts from God. He shall be like a bush in the desert, which does not sense the coming of good. It is set in the scorched places of the wilderness, in a barren land without inhabitant. Blessed is the man who trusts in God, whose trust is God alone. He shall be like a tree planted by waters, sending forth its root by a stream. It does not sense the coming of heat, its leaves are ever fresh, it has no care in a year of drought, it does not cease to yield fruit. Most devious is the heart, it is perverse. Who can fathom it? I, God, probe the heart, search the mind, to repay each person according to their own ways, with the proper fruit of their deeds. Like a partridge hatching what she did not lay, so are those who amass wealth by unjust means. In midlife it will leave them, and in the end they will prove fools. O throne of glory exalted from of old, or sacred shrine, O hope of Israel, O eternal one, all who forsake you shall put to shame. Those in the land who turned from you shall be doomed, for they have forsaken God, the fount of living waters. Heal me, O eternal one, and let me be healed. Save me, and let me be saved, for you are my glory. Blessings after the Haftorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zer kol haolamim zadik, vekol adoret ahel הנאמן, האומר ועושה, עם דבר חיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישב, רחם כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמם אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן, בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all eternities, righteous in all generations, the faithful God who says and does, who speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are true. Faithful are you, Lord our God, and faithful are your words. Not one of your words turns back unfulfilled, for you, O God, are a faithful and compassionate King. Blessed are you, Lord, the God who is faithful in all his words.